Alright guys, welcome to part 4 of how to make a beat in FL Studio 20 with Warrior Sound Beats. So, last video we changed and got rid of our melody, put in some new chords using FL keys, made a bass line to sit underneath those chords, and where we left off we're sort of screaming out like this needs a melody really. It's just begging to have a melody that goes in with those chords. So what I think we're going to do is take this pattern here, so we can just double click on the piano #2 there and see our chords. And I think what we're going to do is find a melody within the chords, and we'll clone FL keys. So if we go to the little channels up here, we right click, we're going to clone. Now we've got FL keys #2. If we go down to the piano roll, we're going to choose #2. We'll use the ghost notes in the piano roll here just to go around and see what's relevant to each chord and part and try and find a melody in there, and then we might switch the FL keys out into something else. If you can't see the ghost notes, you need to click up here on the little arrow. It's going to go orange when you're over it. Down to helpers and ghost channels. You can also do Alt and V to turn that on and off. So let's try and find a melody within these chords that is going to sit with our track. We're leading off of that F. We could maybe do a high F. I think we'll let the chord develop and then bring a note in. And maybe run down the chord. Half step into the next. So what we're going to do is just try and find a melody and rhythm that fits within our chords. We're going to use the same notes for the most part. So we're going to switch it up into the 2 bars. So in that first beat, we've not had a note this time, and this time we're going to go and bring a note in. See how we go from there. So we want to get this ready now to return round to that F chord. I think if we build this up something like this. Right, if we highlight all of that, hold Command and press up, push it up an octave. That feels a bit awkward, get rid of that. These just feel too far apart, we can bring those down the octave. What works better in the first bit is the 2-step here. we can do is bring the first 2 bars up an octave. The only point that actually goes down is this second. There, that runs quite nicely. So we've kept the same rhythm for the first 3 bars. It changes up on the last one to have that quick run up. We introduce the run down on the 3rd bar. You just keep the exact same rhythm but alternate notes on the first 2. So it kind of builds up and works for us there. And notice the only note that drops on a chord is this A here. So everything else is in between the chords, so it gives the melody time to occur in between. Now it does work with the piano. I think maybe what we could do is jazz it up a little bit in the mixer. Let's give it its own channel. The FL keys is not the sexiest of sounds, but we can flex it up a little bit. Let's maybe push overdrive a little bit. Let's give it a reverb to go to. So we've just highlighted my FX channel here. If I just hit F2, I can just rename it verb, and we'll stick a reverb in there. F8's the shortcut just to bring up this menu here. We'll use the stock reverb, and we're just going to send that to that. We've used quite quiet notes. We're going to slam some volume in. I think I'm going to delay the reverb as well, but not everything else, just to see what feel that gives us. Yeah, we want that to be a little bit longer. Tempo sync. Get you on 1/4. Generally, I quite like to high pass if I do this sort of thing where I'm delaying a reverb, because you don't want any of the low end in there. So I just tend to put a high pass on. It just makes life a little bit easier. There you go. So wetting that up's really helped that develop a lot. Sounds a lot more pleasant to listen to, at least. Got some motion to it. Might be worth sending the other piano into here as well, but with much less level. Now this reverb bus thing we've made here is a pretty busy sound. What it will likely be worth doing is putting a sidechain on it as well. I mean, if we listen to the whole lot now. It's not too bad, it is a little bit overwhelming. What we can do is put Fruity Limiter on, which is just up here. We drag you in. And what we'll do, we'll sidechain our drums, not just the kick, but all of the drums to it. So we select drums and we can right click down here and do sidechain to this track. So the sidechain means it's going to send to that track, but there's no level at all. And we're just going to get the compressor to read that. So where it says sidechain here, we can right click, we're going to go drums. And we're just going to set up quite a harsh ratio. And we're just going to pull out some areas of it. Yeah, that is just helping the drums cut through a little bit there. So you can see it's reducing by around 4 decibel on the drum hits, but it's releasing nice and quickly, so it's not affecting it too much. It's just taking that level away while the drums hit, just to free up a bit of space there, because it's quite a busy sound, taking up a lot of the stereo field. We're just here like controlling, making sure we don't muddy up the mix, and we've not even really started to mix yet. We just want everything to be as good as it can be before we even level it out. Right, so what I would usually do here is I've got a loop, 16 bars, sort of working for me. I want to level it out, so when I listen to it, it's always going to be working now. So I've done lots of random bits of MIDI and velocity. Instead of adjusting all that, I'll adjust the faders. So what I'll do is highlight from my kick. If I do Shift and Command, and we can then highlight the whole lot, like so. And we're even going to bring the reverb down because we have already adjusted that to the level we like. We want everything to come down in context. And what I'm actually going to do is drop it all the way down to 0. I'm now going to play the loop and bring the elements back in and just get a balance that's a bit more applicable. Now, something else I'm doing is turning my listening volume down really low. So I'm going to bring everything into a level where I can hear it nicely. And that should help me balance everything out relatively level. That's a very different balance to what we had before, but with my headphones down really low and just bringing all the bits in, that's what feels nicer. So I'll just work from here now because I know everything's not as muddied up and it's just a little bit clearer to keep working. So I think in the next video, we're going to look at maybe adding another element and try and look at building a hook into this as well. I will see you guys on the next video.